Okay, so this is my first example for the topic about z-test for a proportion. It says, a researcher claims that based on the information obtained from the Centers for Disease and Prevention, 17% of the young people ages 2 to 19 are obese. To test this claim, she randomly selected 200 people ages 2 to 19 and found that 42 were obese. At alpha equal to 0.05, is there enough evidence to reject the claim? So, yung ating assumptions for a proportion o z-test for a proportion, number one is dapat randomly selected yung ating sample. So, okay naman. Number two, dapat satisfy yung ating binomial experiment na na-discuss ko dun sa aking first video. And then, the third is NP greater than or equal to 5 and uh, NQ is also greater than or equal to 5. That is 200 times 0.17. I think that is greater than 5. And also, 0.83, which is 83% of the population ages to 2 to 19 are not obese, times 200 is, of course, greater than or equal to 5 also. Now, since yung ating assumptions ay na-satisfy, we can now proceed on our hypothesis testing this ating example number 1. And for step 1, that is, we're going to state the hypothesis and identify the claim. So, ang ating null hypothesis is there is no difference. Yung ating population proportion. Okay? So, we have null is the population proportion P is equal to 0.17. Okay? And this is the claim of the researcher. Okay? Ito yung kine-claim niya. Yung daw population ng people ages 2 to 19 are obese. Okay? That is 70% of the population. Therefore, the null, this is non-directional kasi hindi in-specify if the sample is greater than the population or less than the population. So, therefore, our null hypothesis is the population is not equal to, population proportion is not equal to 0.7. So, for step 2, we're going to find the critical values. Ang ating alpha is 0.05. Alpha is 0.05. This is two-tailed. Two-tailed test. And then, therefore, our critical value, if two-tailed at alpha equal to 0.05, critical values are dalawa, positive, negative 1.96. Okay? Pakicheck na lang doon sa aking video na binigay sa inyo in finding the critical values at a given value of alpha. And then, for step number 3, we're going to compute the z-value. But before that, compute muna natin yung test value. Okay? Ano ba yung test value? Yun yung ating sample proportion. Okay? That is p hat. Yung p hat natin, that is x over n. Yung x natin, that is the number of people ages 2 to 19 that are obese. 42 yon. Okay? And out of 200 minus 42, those are the number of people ages 2 to 19 that are not obese. Okay? So therefore, x is 42 and our sample size is 200. Okay? So our answer is 42 divided by 200 is 21 over 100. That is 0.21. Ito yung ating test value. Okay? Tetest natin kung totoo yung claim based from our sample data that we obtained from the population. Now, to compute for z value, we have p hat minus the population proportion all over the square root of all over pq over n. Okay? So, kunin muna natin yung q. Yung 17%, yun yung proportion of the population na kung saan obese. Okay? Yung 83%, yun yung ating q. Yun yung percentage of the population ages 2 to 19 that are not obese. So, therefore, q is equal to 1 minus P. 1 minus 0.17, so that is equal to 0.83. Okay? And then substitute natin this ating formula. Therefore, the computed z value is 0.21 minus population proportion, which is 0.17 over square root of P is 0.17 times 0.83 divided by square root of, divided by 200. Okay. Now, gamit yung ating calculator, we have press fraction, 0.21 on top minus 0.17. Sa denominator, we have square root of 0.17 times 0.83 divided by 200, then press equals. Our answer is 1.51. So 1.51. Okay. Now, we're going to make a decision. That is our step number 4. What is our decision? Papansin natin, yung ating 1.51 is less than positive 1.96. So, ibig sabihin, nasa acceptance region yung ating value. So, ito yung 1.51, yung ating 1.96 na andito pa. Ito yung ating rejection region to the right, and this is our rejection region to the left of our normal curve. Now, since yung ating computed z value, which is equal to 1.51, is less than the critical value equal to 1.96, our decision is accept the null, or do not reject the null. The null hypothesis. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that we do not have enough evidence to reject the claim. Okay? And therefore, tama yung claim that young people ages 2 to 19 are obese. 17% of young people ages 2 to 19 are obese, according to Centers for Disease and Prevention. So our step number 5 is we summarize the result. Step 5. Our step 5, if there is not enough evidence to reject the claim. Okay? Which means that there's not enough evidence to reject the claim that 17% of people ages 2 to 19 are obese. Okay? Di natin i-reject yung null. So, ibig sabihin, may katotohanan yung claim of the researcher that 17% of young people ages 2 to 19 are obese. Thank you.